there, I'm Holly McDonald with the Costa Mesa Pod, where we discuss all things concerning the lifestyle, businesses, and activities that make Costa Mesa such a great place to live. Today I'm with Katy Manor. She's a local and she has a lot of experience with the area. She's also been a radio host for KWVE 107.9 for a while. And
Yes.
Katy, we are just thrilled to have you.
Thank you so much. It's great to be here. Real quick, I did want to touch on a little bit about my radio background and how I took a little hiatus, and then I'm at a Christian radio station. So I'm mature, and I've been on rock and roll radio stations for 17 years, including K-Rock in Los Angeles, 91X in San Diego. I usually did the morning show in San Diego. I've traveled all over the world. I made a lot of money. I bought houses, and then I lost them. Because the market went up. But anyway, then three children, raising three children. So I took a little time off of radio. And then KWVE hired me about 5 years ago.
Okay.
And so that brought me down to this area.
Oh, okay. Awesome. So where have you lived in Orange County?
Huntington Beach.
Uh-huh.
And I currently reside, it's right on the border. I think we were talking about it, Costa Mesa / Santa Ana. It's actually right across the street from the church. Calvary Chapel, Costa Mesa, from the Jesus Revolution movie. They own the radio station.
So a little South Coast Metro action right over by South Coast Plaza.
Yes,
I know you guys do a lot of community events that, really affect and impact our area too.
Yes.
So all of our locals. Your church certainly has a huge name, so everybody's very aware of it.
And Holly, before I forget, because it might go real fast, there's a huge event coming up at the end of the month, October 28th, Saturday. It's like a Halloween alternative. Free, tons of candy, entertainment. It's really for the whole family. And it'll be on our events page at kwave.com. I wanted to slip that in there.
Oh my gosh, I think everybody loves Halloween season and everybody loves a good party.
Yep.
So, and I mean, I have two little ones myself, so I know anytime there's an event that's free, of course, and that's going to be fun for everybody. It's a good excuse to get out.
Well, I wanted to talk a little bit about many years raising my children was in San Gabriel Valley and Arcadia area had excellent schools.
Yeah.
And I was renting up there. And we've got the mountains, so there's hiking. And like I said, I basically did that for my children. But I was raised by the ocean, and I thought to myself, someday I'm just going to get back closer to the ocean. And so, like I said, when we came down to Huntington Beach and this area, just flat out cooler temperatures. I mean, bam. And as you age, my mom warned me about this. This is like, the heat. And it's just nice. We've got the ocean. It's just cooler, temperate. The healthy lifestyle here. Just that we were talking about the Back Bay, the ocean, people are cycling. It's the restaurants.
Yeah.
Vegan, you can get anything, and it is a different vibe down here.
Yeah. So compared to Arcadia, so that's Los Angeles County.
Right.
But you are a little bit more inland, so it's kind of the foothills.
Yes.
Yeah. So you moved down here initially for work, but did you have much of an idea of what Orange County had to offer? Did you just think beaches? Did you consider inland or?
Yeah, no, actually, and you could probably educate me.
I'm just curious.
It's like beaches is right.
Yeah.
I married a man that he's in December, no wetsuit, he will just dive into that ocean, and I think I married a seal. But we love the beach.
Yeah.
So yes, but there's other things, aren't there?
There are, but I mean, certainly the coastal real estate market is very highly sought after.
Yes.
It is, comes with a price.
Right.
But I mean, there's certainly inland areas. There's areas where you can get more yard space.
Right.
When you're by the beach, the houses, especially very close to the beach, they do tend to be packed in because everybody wants to be on the water. But you can get inland a little bit, just even a few miles from the beach, get a 6,000 square foot lot, which isn't huge, but it's something. And then you can go even further inland and get, even a half acre or an acre. Depending on where you go.
Well, that's what I was looking at your site, and it said, really talk about some of the communities that are within striking distance, like we just were talking about, I don't know, Fountain Valley. I don't know. Just tell me, like people that might be watching right now, just saying, okay, I can't even touch Costa Mesa, or I can't touch that. Is there like you just said.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting actually, because I mean, some people will think you can't even touch the beach city, because obviously if it has beach in the name, it's probably very expensive.
Okay.
It's not necessarily true. Well, everything in Orange County is definitely above like the national levels of what's affordable.
Right.
Huntington Beach certainly does have areas because Huntington Beach is so large and it extends quite far inland. It goes like 5 miles inland in some areas.
Right.
The further you get from the ocean, you can actually find homes that are more affordable comparatively.
Okay.
Newport Beach is obviously very expensive. Laguna Beach is very expensive. Those areas, San Clemente, Dana Point, tend to be quite expensive. But there are the cities that are right on the borders. And then once you extend inland, of course, that do get more affordable. Right. So Westminster, Fountain Valley, Costa Mesa, parts of Irvine, Laguna Hills, Laguna Niguel, they tend to not necessarily touch the ocean, but they're very close. Most of them bike riding distance. So you can enjoy the lifestyle at a fraction of the price. And then if you want a fraction of the price, you can go, even into other areas. Tustin, Orange, Anaheim.
Oh my gosh, I've got a girlfriend that lives in Orange. She has like 17 fruit trees.
Oh yeah.
And she has these wonderful soiree parties where she invites a youth group over and it's just, and I think 20 minutes, what is it? 25 minutes?
About 20 minutes.
Yeah. So it's just like, I would definitely be thinking about something like that.
Well, Costa Mesa used to just all be orange groves and Orange used to all be orange groves. And there are still some areas where you can at least find an orange tree. So, yeah. So there are certainly affordable options, but so it's cool. I mean, I think a lot of people do associate Orange County with the beach from like all the TV shows and everything. But one thing I think is interesting, are you originally from California?
Yes.
Okay. And your husband?
Yes. Okay. Claremont. Yes.
Oh, okay. So you're both lifers. I'm from the East Coast. And so,
oh my gosh,
I'm from New Jersey. And, we certainly have our seasons, but summer is the season. And I was so excited to move to California because I was like, I can have summer all year long. And it's not quite that, but it's pretty darn close.
Yes, it is.
But on the East Coast, because, we have more humid weather, and it's just a different climate, you do get really warm nights. They're very warm. But here, it's like it could be so warm, 80s degrees, 90 degrees during the day. But at night, it cools off because it's a desert climate. And you just don't realize that till you move here. And at first you think it's a fluke. Then you're like, you always need layers here. Like always. It's so interesting to me.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Whenever I go back east I always go back east in the summer. When I go back east, I'm like, it's so hot here at night.
We have to get our fake artificial orange and brown leaves and put them in pots.
Yes, there's like a little spell where you get a little bit of foliage here, but not much. Yeah.
Well, Holly, I wanted to switch the table since I am an announcer. And by the way, I work at the weekends on KWVE 107.9.
So tune in.
Yes. Well, just real quick.
Yeah.
We did have music, but up until about a month ago, it's all programming right now.
Oh, okay.
It's all like focus on the family, and they've got a pastor's perspective call-in show, and it's all talk. And I talk between the programs and interject stuff. But it's and we just bought a radio station, an AM station, 1110 AM, that goes all in the Valley, Thousand Oaks, Ventura. And some people just say, do we need another Christian radio station? Really? And I wanted to touch on the fact that things are getting a little bit crazy here politically, or just the world is getting a little bit scarier. Let's just put it that way. And how if you need encouragement, if you just need spiritual guidance, I just wanted to suggest that. Whether it's K-Love, whether it's K-Wave, I don't care, as long as you get fed. And also that there's many churches, not just Calvary Chapel, Costa Mesa, Cross Point, Cross Line, that for your children, for your marriage, a lot of marriages. I've been married a couple times, so let me tell you something. It's just the support. So I wanted to put my 2 cents in for that.
I mean, I think having a sense of community is really important wherever you can find it. Yeah. And I mean, we have a ton of churches in Orange County. Yeah. I think that's something that a lot of people don't even think about. I lived in Los Angeles when I first moved here, and they have large churches too, but it wasn't as much of a part of the culture from how I saw it anyway. Right. Then I moved down here, and it was a very large part of the culture for many. So yeah, it's nice to have that. And you had said people could reach out to you for encouragement too.
Yes. Because I did a podcast. It's kind of defunct right now, but you've encouraged me.
Yeah, go back.
You can tell I'm so shy. But it's grateful_Katy. So that's the word grateful _KATY. If you want me to speak, because I do give speaks for women, for teens, for recovery, anything that you think, wow, that woman's a little interesting and I wouldn't mind having her come to our group, that's how you can get a hold of me. I wanted to turn the tables though and just ask you some questions because I was telling one of your coworkers that I actually got my real estate license and I was in the class taking, some of the courses still, and I was selling a home. I was closing a deal. So I basically sold a house before I got my license. And because
gotta do what you gotta do.
The gift of gab, I'm good at sales, but a girlfriend actually said that, Kate, I know that you're in real estate now and I'm selling my house. So anyway, what I wanted to say is that that's my one hit wonder because I'm not very organized. And my husband said to me, you're going to get sued. And so basically I had a 1-year-old and I said, I think we're going to give this a pass. So what I want to ask you, people that are watching your podcast right now, and you are so organized and you know the area and you're trustworthy. And it's like someone might be saying, Holly, why don't you tell us maybe your passion and, why you're doing this and maybe a success story. And then I'll ask you, I'm interested because you're doing it. You obviously love it.
I do. I've been in it for about 14 years.
Wow.
But I guess how I got into it, I feel like I was always a realtor in training from the get-go. My mom did it a little bit part-time. However, just ever since I was a child, I had a passion for like wanting to move, and we never did. But we went to open houses all the time. We always like wanted to move. And I don't know if you remember the magazines that they would have at the front of the grocery store, like the Homes magazines. I made my parents get me one every time they went to the store. And I would just like go through them and learn like all of the ways they describe the homes or just the pricing for different areas where I'm from. So I just had a real fun time with it. I didn't think when I was little that would be my job. I mean, I had a lot of different interests, but that was certainly something that I was really passionate about. And then when I went to work, I wanted to do all of the fun, flashy stuff. So I went to school for TV production and I ended up producing for House Hunters, which is a show on Home and Garden.
Wow, no wonder.
Yeah, so I was behind the scenes on that really, although I was featured on one very special episode. But just doing that and seeing realtors in their passion projects every day, I really just kind of caught the bug. And I was like, honestly, that seemed like a more fulfilling thing for me based on my own experience and how I wanted to be able to help people, with their own home buying experiences. So then I decided to kind of switch paths completely and got my license and threw my hat in the ring.
Wow.
Yeah.
Something someone right now at my work said they just put an offer on a condo. His mom died last year and his elderly dad buying a condo. And I text him, I go, do you trust your realtor?
Yeah.
And it's just like, because the counter offers and you make sure that they know what to do and not to give up and that they, do you trust it's a friend of the family and you want to touch on that a little bit, how friends of the family are good, but I mean, in a market where you're really trying to make your best shot.
Yeah. I mean, I will say, and I totally respect people having family relationships. I mean, I understand there's a lot of lines you don't want to cross, but
smart.
But I will say too that yes, it's very important, no matter what the market is, really, just to have somebody working with you, for you as a team member who really has your best interests at heart. In very competitive markets, sometimes you don't know what your best interest is because, like last year when you basically had to sell your soul almost to just buy a house because there was so little inventory.
Right.
If you had asked somebody that bought a home in a more calm market or a more buyer favored market, they would have thought you were crazy for waiving this or offering that. It is dependent on what the market conditions are. So it ultimately comes down to, is this the right time for you to buy a house? Are you ready to make that commitment? And what do you want to take to get it? Because I think it also harms you if your ultimate goal is to buy a house and then you're making very, very conservative offers, you may never get a house. And I saw a lot of people 2 years ago when the rates were really historically very low, when everybody wanted to buy a house.
Right.
But they missed out. They missed the boat because they weren't making the offers that would have gotten accepted. And it was a really challenging time. But then those people, you know, they sat back and they, you know, rationalized themselves like, okay, well, we'll just wait for prices to come down because the rates are going up. And lo and behold, I mean, we never know when prices are going to come down.
Oh my gosh.
But even with the huge increase in the interest rates, they've stayed the same or gone up. So, you know, buying that same house today is costing people thousands more per month on their payments, let alone, you know, anything else. So, you know, if your goal is to buy a house, you need to work with somebody who's ultimately going to help you buy the house. And yes, you want to get the best deal possible, but you need to understand what you're up against. And it depends on price point too. Some price points, condos, depending on the area, the condition, the location, they may be more sought after than others. And you just need to know like how much of a fight to put up for it.
Wow, this is so interesting.
Yeah, there's a lot that goes into it. But I think ultimately, as long as you're working with somebody, I will say this. I would work with somebody who really is truly in the business day in and day out. Like, and I don't want to put down somebody who's only doing it part-time or like on the fly, but you really don't know what's going on out there. You don't know what tricks are sort of working to make your offer look better.
Oh my gosh.
You know, stand out against the competition.
You know, there are some backstabbers there. It wasn't an office. I will remain nameless, the name of it.
Yeah, please.
It was in Arcadia, but oh my gosh, the double ending. And you want to tell them what that is? What, you know,
essentially it's when an agent represents both the buyer and the seller.
Right. And there's nothing wrong with that. But
it's a very tricky position to be in.
It's a tricky. So I was showing someone a house and no, you can't, so-and-so's, it's his house. And it's like, oh my gosh, here as a newbie, you know, and it's just like, this is like cutthroat business. But that's what I want to do. Because I've got cold feet because I bought high. Had to actually give a house back to the bank because the market went down. Yeah. And so I handed over to the bank and it's like, Kate, I know, but it's just like, when you're ready again, when you know where because people are leaving California. Yeah. I actually don't think that's such a great idea. You talk to some of those people that moved. I have.
Yeah.
And you know what? They're happy for what? A little bit?
I mean, I certainly see people wanting to
come back.
Yeah, even not from here. I've had family on the East Coast that have migrated. The big thing on the East Coast is you move down to Florida. That's
right.
Everybody does. And not that there's anything wrong
down there.
Nothing's wrong with it, but I think some people do miss like what they're used to. I mean,
my gosh,
it's a different culture, you know. It totally is.
Anyway, so how much time we've got left? I'm totally not keeping track.
We've got only about 10 minutes.
Oh, 10 minutes is great. I was going to say, because we'll do our final words, but no, but someone watching, or maybe even for myself, taking notes that maybe it's not quite ready.
Yeah.
But how do you get like ready? What is like those steps of like, okay, zeroing in on area and getting your finances in order. And how do we get to that commit? Because you had said, committed.
Yeah.
When you get to that committed, is there a step to get to that committed point where it's just like, okay.
Yeah, I mean, I would highly advise. I know a lot of people get freaked out about, they would much rather talk to me, a realtor, than they would a lender. And I mean, I'm excited to talk to anybody that will listen about real estate, but I can't pre-qualify you. Like, I can't tell you you are financially stable. Right. You can throw all sorts of numbers at me, but honestly, I'm not the one giving the loan.
Right.
So my suggestion would be to talk to a lender. It's not a commitment. You don't need to have your credit run today. Like it's not what you're probably blowing it up to be.
Wow.
I would honestly just talk to them and have just a consultation, really. Just go over like, what is your income? What sort of savings do you have? What sort of debts do you have?
Yes.
All of this factors in. And then, where do you think you are on the credit score range? And then as you're getting closer, you probably need to have your credit run eventually.
Right.
But, this is for a consultation. It's just really to get information and find out where you stand. Because for some people, so you're buying your first home. Mm-hmm. It might make more sense to pay off your car loan first so that you can qualify for more. Some people that are selling a home and wanting to move up, but thinking that they can't, they also might be in a position where they think they have all of this equity to put toward their next home, But qualifying wise, it makes more sense for them to pay off A, B, and C and have a little bit less to put down, but then they can qualify for more.
Wow.
Because, the numbers are the numbers. I mean, ultimately, you can only qualify based on your debt to income,
Right.
To a certain degree. So if you're paying,
Yes.
$3,500 a month between car and education loans and whatnot,
Yes.
then the lender's not going to approve you to pay that much for a house because they're going to think you can't afford it.
Okay, live within your means. Pay off those credit cards.
But I also will say, I think a lot of people also think that they'll never be able to buy a home. And,
Okay.
like we were talking about before, when the market's very competitive, it is hard to have an edge. And there are, so many rabbit holes we could go down about that. But, certainly there are markets, there are always little parts of the market where you have an in. And so you got to take advantage of those and you have to be on the lookout. But I would always have your ducks in a row financially. And if you can afford to pay rent here, you can probably afford to buy something. Is it going to be your dream home? Is it going to be your forever home? No, I don't think it probably will be. None of us, very few of us, started off with our dream home. I started off with a little condo that sat right next to the 405 freeway. Was that my dream home? No. I said it sounded like the ocean. That's what I did to get through it. But ultimately, it yielded equity. It yielded rental income for a little while. I mean, it helped get to the next step. And I've taken several steps throughout, am I in my dream home yet? I don't know. Maybe I'm never going to be there. And that's what I love each home I have. And then when it's time for the next stepping stone, or I get tired of a place and have the ability, I've always, I'm very grateful for this, but always have I come out further ahead.
Wow.
Because the property values have gone up. And yes, there was that blip. And I'm so sorry that you got trapped in that. We had really shady lending and stuff at that time. And it was just, hopefully that will never happen again. The lenders are trying to be very, very cautious about that. Why it's so strict now. So,
and something, you brought up the fact that if someone can afford rent right now, rent is just crazy. And we just think it's this area. No, it's everywhere. It's everywhere. And it's, you really have to say to yourself, I am literally throwing this away.
Yeah, someone else is getting very, very rich off of it. So
I'm one of those people that I look at my landlords like, you really are doing well.
And I mean, my business partner and I often talk about too, if you can't afford to buy here and you don't want to leave the area, I get it. The lifestyle here is amazing. I don't want to live anywhere else. But maybe you buy somewhere else. Maybe you just become a landlord for the pure reason of building equity. That's certainly a wonderful thing to have. I mean, it's essentially a savings account. It gets you to being a homeowner sooner. You can always sell that in a few years and buy something else. Or maybe you're doing so well on it, you can still pull money out, buy something else, and keep that for your retirement plan.
Wow.
I mean, there are certainly really good areas to do that. And Southern California it's still booming. I mean, there are so many areas being developed. Just drive up and down the 15, it's just, every time you go down, there's new homes. So
that is so true.
Yeah. And it's a lot less expensive. So,
oh my gosh. Is there I know they know how to get a hold of you because they're obviously listening, but what are the resources that you have? Other links that's attached to your?
Yeah, I would say probably the best place that I provide content is on my Instagram.
Right.
So that's Realtor Holly McDonald on Instagram, or OC Home Collective is the other page that I've been starting. But I also think, from you, it's so nice that people can kind of come to you and find support resources as well. And, through your radio show, that everything that you guys are doing is such a great resource for the community. Does that, can you get that elsewhere? Does it stream?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hello. Do you see how good she is? Yes.
Yeah.
We have people that listen all over the world.
Yeah.
And it's kwave.com, KWVE.com live stream.
Yeah.
Yes, 24/7. And we have people in Australia and we have a wonderful program. My boss will be very happy if I say this. It's called Pastor's Perspective. 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock, Monday through Friday. And people call in. They don't even go to church. These people, a lot of people, it's like, I've got questions about the Bible or about my faith. And we have several pastors, including the pastor from Calvary Chapel, Costa Mesa, answering questions, and from LGBTQ, and my husband's dressing up, or my husband just left me, or my children are doing drugs, and it's from the Bible, and it's very, very helpful.
I mean, everybody has
Yes.
You're not living life if you don't have some sort of issue to deal with, like we
That's
all
true.
have issues, and you just want to have practical resources that are going to actually be helpful, and not just be trying to scam you or just give like poor advice. So and I love that you guys through KWVE, through Calvary, really do so much to impact our community for the betterment of the community. And like you said, your radio show reaches all over the country, the globe. So you're really doing lots of good everywhere. So it sounds like you've got a lot of great perspectives and can help people. So I hope people can reach out to you as well.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And thanks for having me on. And I'm going to buy a house someday and I know who to call.
All right. Well, thank you, Katie.
Okay,
It's so good to have
bye-bye.
you.